Yeah, good to see everybody. Just first off, just want to announce an addition to the team here. Ryan McCleary, pretty excited to get him here and get him with the team. Obviously, with Joel Grammer departing there, nice to get another body on the back end there. So, really grateful to our assistant coaches and just even the administration and just getting it takes a lot of work to get a person into school that quickly. So, everybody was all hands on board getting that going, and he started classes this week. So, we're excited for his addition.
I have a follow-up question on that. So how do you know somebody like him is interested in coming and available and eligible, and how does that all work?
Yeah, that's why the hours of being a coach nowadays are a lot different than they used to be. And again, just a lot of credit to the staff. And, you're reaching out to, we actually thought we maybe had one other player lined up. And then, circumstances change. You got guys in junior hockey, obviously. You got guys nowadays in pro. So it just kind of ended up working out through the advisor there that he had some interest there and coming to school and experiencing college hockey there. So lots of moving parts there to make it happen there. But again, that's where you got to spend a lot of time on the phone and talking to people and figuring out who's available and who's interested.
Can you just talk a little bit about what you're hoping that he brings to the blue line and how his addition is going to help us down the stretch?
Yeah, again, I think he's got some pretty good experience, right? Played a lot of junior hockey there, and then a lot of pretty substantial professional hockey as well there too. Some lots of good experience there. He's a right shot D-man, a bigger body too, which is nice. Obviously, we got Jacob Guevin out right now with an injury too from Friday night in Miami there. So all of a sudden now you're down another guy. So just again, a big body. He's got lots of experience there, right shot there that I think will be able to step in right away and help contribute to the team.
So following up on noticing Jacob being out, Hunter was in the lineup on Saturday night. How are you approaching those decisions with him in regards to him playing, redshirting, whatever, as the season goes on?
Yeah, to be honest, I think I was excited to get him in. And I know he was excited to play, and he's done a great job in practice. For a while they're kind of being our eighth defenseman there and really contributing every day in practice. I know the guys were really excited for him to get into the lineup. And I thought he did a really good job. I think he played about 10 minutes and did a really solid job there. And, we're definitely not afraid to play him, that's for sure. Sure.
Questions for Simon? Oh, Simon first. Okay.
Hey Simon, when you were out after that North Dakota series, what was your mindset as you had to sit back and watch your teammates play and practice, and how did you approach that time mentally?
Well, it's never great to be injured. I mean, we all want to play and we all want to be healthy. Unfortunately, that's part of the journey, and injuries are part of the seasons. I got one recently, and the one sad thing was that it was kind of coming back. So it was supposed to be 2 weeks, then 3 weeks, then it was 4 and 5. So it took a longer time than expected throughout the Christmas break as well. And I'm happy to be back, to be honest, and ready to get started. I was happy to play on Friday.
As a co-captain, how do you help your teammates stay confident without letting that frustration creep in when things get difficult during the season?
Yeah, I think there is a lot of talking from me and Griffin and other captains. I think that we are doing a good job, especially, it's very easy to give up at this moment, but the coaches and the coaching staff are doing a great job to leading that way and showing us that that's not an option and that's not the mentality right here. And then it's a little bit easier for us as captains to kind of learn from that mindset and that just kind of show it to the other guys too. They always look up to the leaders and coaches, and if we are on the same page as we are, I think that's just really important to not give up. And to be honest, I think that we are getting closer and closer to each other because, in my opinion, these tough times are bringing the team more together. And everything's perfect when we are winning, but really it just shows up how strong we are when the things are not going our way.
When you stepped back in the crease on Friday night, what was the adjustment like? Did you feel like you were game speed ready? Did it take a couple of shots for you to kind of get back into the groove of things? How was that adjustment for you?
Yeah, mentally a little harder, I would say, just to kind of get back into it after injury. You're never really 100% sure that you can trust it as it was before. if you are practicing with the pain, I would say like throughout those that injury time, it doesn't just go away like that. But I think that the support staff did a good job kind of helping me there and giving me the confidence. And then once I step into the net, I don't try to think about anything else, and it's just about to stop the puck.
Following up on Mike's question, on a night when you're feeling good in net, how early do you know that it's going to be a good night? Do you know that right away, or does it take a couple of shots before you figure that out?
That's a tough question, to be honest, to answer. It's usually the feeling that you have, and it starts before the game. But first couple saves are always important. You never know how the game is going to go. And to be honest, I don't know the answer to this question.
So for fans watching from the stands, what's one misconception about the team right now, and what would you want them to understand as we go down these last couple games of the stretch?
You said from the team or from the fans?
If the fans are looking at the team, what's one misperception that they have? They're not in your shoes. They don't know what you guys know. What would you tell them looking at these next 10 games?
That we have not given up. Definitely, we are still here and we are fighting. And we believe in each other. I think that we still have 10 games is a good amount of games in college hockey, in my opinion. It's more than 30% or around that, That's a good amount of hockey and good amount of points. If we are still on the same boat as we are, I think that there is a lot that can happen and a lot that can change from a game to game. We just got to kind of stick to the process, in my opinion, and do the same thing again and again and do the work.
She brought up 10 games. This is your senior season. 10 games down the stretch here. Have you thought at all about the last few weeks of your senior year? Have you given thought to the last 3.5 years? Like, what does this experience mean to you?
It gave me a lot. Omaha gave me a lot. People around me gave me a lot, and I'm excited about these last couple of games here because I think that it's all coming together, and I believe and I'm sure that it's all going to show up at the right time. Now it's time for me to, I would say that enough was said in the locker room by me, but it's time for me to lead on the ice by my performance and the results, and I'm excited to do it.
Simon, it came out today that you were on the Hobie Baker nomination list for the Hobie Baker Award. I know awards are not a big thing for you. You're all about the team. But what does it mean to be one of just 18 players that are on that list?
I think that decision is made by the coaches, if I'm correct, or not.
Yep.
I think that's a great way to give your goalie confidence without any words, and that they believe in me throughout the end of the season, even if the things are not going our way. And I'm thankful for that and responsible, and I'll do my best to put it to play as I should and to just not like mess it up, kind of. Wrongly said.
You come into this weekend against CC, goaltender the opposite side of the ice that you know quite well from your days back at the USHL. Maybe rivalry is not the right word, but it's certainly a premier matchup. How do you approach these weekends when you know that you've got a guy that you faced off against for several years who's quite good himself? Does that help give you an extra boost?
Yeah, Barreco is a good goalie. I think I talked about this before. I think that there is a lot of good goalies in our conference, and every team has some. We always have good matchups together. I'm excited that now it's in our barn, and I'm just excited to get going and play some games with the support of the fans. I think that it's going to be good. And yes, I'm excited about it, and I'm excited for this weekend. All right.
Good job, man. Good job.
Thanks, Simon.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
See ya.
Questions for Coach?
As you approach the CC weekend, obviously, 10 games, there's a lot that can happen within those 10 games. How much, though, are you getting the guys focused on, let's play one shift at a time, let's take one shot at a time, one pass at a time, as opposed to looking at the big picture down the stretch here?
Yeah, I think it's smart anytime you're going through adversity to narrow the focus a little bit there. And as you said, shift by shift, kind of day by day, game by game, is a smart place to live. As much you can be in the present as possible. That's usually what drives the best outcome.
Looking back at the Miami series, what's one thing that the team did better than the scoreboard reflected, and one thing that still needs to show up with more consistency with only 10 games left?
Yeah, again, I like some of our ozone play. I think if you look at the the results after, I think we won the ozone possession time and during the game there. Now it's about finding ways to finish and put the puck in the back of the net. And then I think just, again, if you go through the process of reflecting on the goals against, how are they scoring against us? I think, again, a common theme right now are turnovers that keep showing up, right? So kind of turnovers at the wrong time. So again, when you break it down like that, it gives you a focus on what you need to keep working on. And so I think that's an area of growth for us, keep managing the puck properly and making sure we're making the right decision at the right time there, and to keep working on those things.
There's been stretches this season where the effort hasn't translated to results. The effort's been there, but the results haven't been. How do you diagnose that with the team? Is it confidence, execution? What is it that's that little missing piece that just hasn't quite clicked consistently?
Well, I think like Simon mentioned, I don't think this team is ever not trying hard, right? I think that's one of the makeups we've been for a long time. It's just that compete and that work ethic. And I think, when you get punched in the face a couple of times, you're going to naturally have a little bit of a down, and then you got to kind of get yourself right back up and get back to work. So I think one of the big things for that is leadership. You got to step up and be a leader, and you got to communicate and talk about it. I think that's something when you're going through difficult times, it's easy to get quiet or to not communicate as much, or just hope things get better. And I think great leaders during difficult times communicate and talk about it and talk about the reality of the situation you're facing and how you feel. And then ultimately the most important thing is to step up and do the work, right? And I think, again, that's what I'm really proud of the staff and the groups is we got to work this week, man. We're getting better. We're getting better at certain things, whether it shows up on Friday and Saturday or not, to be determined, but we're getting better. And I know we are. And I think that's something we take a lot of pride in, and the players, can earn their confidence that way as well.
Speaking of leadership, how important is it to have Simon back in the net this weekend?
Yeah, again, it's, if you would have said at the beginning of the season, hey, we'll be without Simon for a long stretch of the season, he's obviously was probably one of our top players returning. So that's never easy on a team, especially when you're going through a tough schedule. It's always nice to have him back, right? He's just got that experience. He's been in these situations before. He's played a lot, and we're definitely excited to, get him back into game shape here. We gave him the one game on the weekend. Didn't want to push it too much there, and I think he's feeling better and better as he gets more practice time in there. So excited to have him back. And again, I don't want to downplay Dawson. He's been thrown into the fire as a freshman goalie. That's not an easy task in this league, and got some very valuable experience along the way as well too. So it's nice that he's got a good chunk of experience as well that will serve him well in the future.
You mentioned Dawson. How valuable is it, though, to have that reliable backup should the situation arise? And now that Dawson's got that experience, he knows not just physically what it takes in this league, but the mental aspect of it too. How valuable is that as you hit the stretch run?
Yeah, I think so. Sometimes there's no substitute for experience, right? You have to kind of go through it to actually know what it feels like to sit in that chair and experience it that day in and day out. And probably would have liked to do it a little bit slower for him, where he didn't have to go all the time against those opponents that we had to face, one after another. But hey, at the end of the day, you can just see his growth and just even his mindset. And I spent a lot of time talking to him as well too, and it's just kind of nice to see his development through this journey that he's gone on. And there's been some adversity as well. And again, that's how you grow. Nobody wants to go through it, trust me. There's not a guy in the locker room that wants to be in the situation we're in and isn't devastated by it. But at the same breath, like, that's life, and you got to freaking step up and do the work and deal with it. And that's how you grow. You got to attack it head on. And he's a guy that has that same type of mentality.
This group swept Colorado College back in Colorado Springs back in October. When you watch the tape now, what feels most transferable to this weekend and what doesn't anymore?
I mean, they're a good hockey team, right? So again, I think you just got to keep growing and learning and playing. And trying to simplify some things for our group. I think that's important too, just to let guys play a little bit more free where they're not overthinking. They're, trusting their instincts a little bit just to play. And I think you're faster that way. You're more competitive that way when you're not thinking. I think when, you're a little nervous or things have been tough, right? You don't want to make a mistake. You don't want to mess up. And we have to be responsible that way at this level. But at the same breath, I'd like to see our guys just play a little bit and simplify their game and just go and compete, and don't overthink the future or what's happened in the past. Just be as present as you can and engage and compete and be vocal and have great body language. And I think, when you're doing that, you're showing confidence, you're playing your best.
Are the guys having fun? Is it still fun for them even at this point?
Yeah, again, if you really watch our games, I mean, it's a lot of close hockey games, right? So it's, which sometimes almost makes it, talking to the guys makes it more frustrating at times, when you're right there and, you look back at Western or Nodak or Cornell and you're on these wrong ends of all these ones, but in the same breath, that's what's happening, and you got to deal with it. So I think, again, just to the communication leadership, you have to acknowledge the feeling of down. I had a tough day on Sunday. That's what I told the team. That was probably one of my toughest Sundays in a long, long time. And you just got to share that. That's how it feels. I can't sleep. You're overthinking things. You're trying to help everybody, and you probably got 20 other guys that feel the same way. So I think by talking about it and addressing it, and then saying, okay, well, how does the best version of myself react to this? And then stepping up, and we can't say, oh, shucks, we got to freaking get to work today. So it's a work day. It's going to be a work day. And then you do it, and then after practice, you feel better. Right? You feel better, and you get a little bit of that juice back, and you start feeling good because you did something about it. You didn't just think about it. You didn't complain about it. You didn't feel sorry for yourself. You did something about it. And I think that's what the great leaders do, and that's what our team's made of. And I'll said it from day one, I love this group, man. It's nobody in there wants to be losing. I'll tell you that much, but we got to deal with it, but we got to keep pushing them away, and you never know when the tide's going to change, and I believe it's going to change.
So it sounds like, you mentioned earlier, you're getting better, so that you still have that good optimism to end up having, more success as they coming up. So it's still there, that optimism.
Yeah, you got to be. It's not there all the time, and you got to find it again and bring it up to light, and 100%, man. You got to believe. Good stuff. Okay, thanks,
That's a
guys.
good way to end it.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay,
Thanks, sir.